2 weeks. So I'm mostly sitting in the office job.
All right, looks like it's us. We're gonna get started. So I got till 10:30. I can go a little bit longer than that, but that's what I'm planning on. We got a lot to cover today. So we're gonna do head through the toes. So head, shoulders, knees, toes, how it all connects, and if you have a broken part of your chain, how it affects everything going like with your squats, your presses, and all of that. So there's a lot, and so you can try to ask some questions during the time, but we might just kind of keep moving. Okay. So I'm Dr. Jake. We're going to start with an intro. I'm Dr. Jake. I am from Flex Forward Physical Therapy, which is my own company in Grace Lake. So I specialize in helping people like gym goers basically try to stay in the gym without pain. So and I do take insurance. I take Blue Cross Blue Shield, PPOs, and I'm also do cash, which is different than a lot of other PTs. And there's some perks and stuff to that. So if you have questions, you can ask me. So what we're going to talk about first is we're going to just basically start at our feet and work our way all the way up, okay? So what you guys are going to do is you're going to start by standing. Okay, we're going to be basically like standing and then going to sitting. I tried to like keep it in a framework where we're not doing it up, down, up, down, and up, down, okay? So basically, when we're talking about our chain, right, and we talk about squatting, let's have everybody just kind of squat. And when you're doing all these moves with me today, we're going to do an assessment. So you're basically just feeling what your body feels. Tell me if there's any pain. And you're looking for range of motion. Do you feel like something's stuck, sticky, tight? That's something to pay attention to, right? So as you squat, right, you should be able to get semi down to parallel, okay? So that those knees are down to parallel. Some people say go all the way down, but we want to be able to go fairly down. What limits us from being able to do that is usually our ankles and our knees, sometimes our hips, but usually it's our knees and our ankles, okay? So what we're going to start with is feet. So when you guys do the next squats, you're going to do 2 more squats from me. I want you to pay attention to where you feel the pressure on your feet. Okay, I know Nathan's probably pretty good about like telling you guys to put pressure on your heels when you squat. Maybe not. Okay, so when you do your squat, I want you to kind of get into a comfortable position where you're in your squat, and then you can come back up if that's too much, but go down in the squat, feel where you feel the pressure on your toes. Okay, all right. Did anybody feel it in the big toe?
More than the little one.
Yeah.
More in the little one. Yeah, more. Yeah, more in the little ones. Okay. So actually, when you do this exercise, you want to feel it in the big toe. Okay? And here's why. So if you squat and you're putting all your pressure on the outside of your foot, you're changing the mechanics up here in your hips. Okay? So what I see a lot of people do is if they have weak arches and they collapse, right? So if you don't have to take your shoe off, but if you were to, look at those ice cream cones, dreamsicles. So what you can do, so if you look at your arch, right, if it's completely flat, that means that it's kind of rolled down like that, right? And that's a neutral arch. This would be a high arch, right? So I'm able to use my muscles to control the arch of my foot, and that is going to change what happens up the chain. So if I have a flat arch, my knee rolls in, right? So if you've seen people squat and their kind of knees come in, sometimes it's actually from here, not at the knee, not at the hip, okay? It can be at the hip, but like that's why the foot really is a big proponent with your squatting, okay? So now when you do your squat, what you want is you want to think of taking that bone right there and this big toe, and you want to put all your pressure through that, and you want to create a nice arch so that it doesn't collapse, okay? So on your next squat, what I want you to try to do is imagine pushing that part of your foot down into the ground and kind of squeeze the ground. Imagine you're taking your feet and going like this, just kind of wringing out the earth, right? And then do your squat, okay? But don't let your knees collapse. There you go. Nathan looks good. Yeah, you guys look good. Good. Okay? So that's a huge thing. Recently, I have seen so many people with issues on this outside here. They start having pain here. And that's usually an indicator that you are, when you're squatting or lunging, you're putting too much weight on the outside. Okay? So how do you fix that? I'm not going to do a lot of quick fixes because we've got a lot of stuff to get through. But if you do feel that and you're getting it here, what you would do is you would do your squats. You either take a little mini loop band, so those little loop ones, and you can take your shoes off, put it on your big toe only, and then do your squat. So that way you push your toes down into that band as you're squatting. Or you attach it to something. You attach one to like your bench, your squat rack, whatever, and then you would have it here attached to something, and now you're trying to hold that down. If it doesn't, it's going to fly out of there. So you just put it underneath your shoe, like here, and you're going to press that down into the ground. Does that make sense? Okay. So yeah, you just put a band underneath there so that it doesn't kick out and just like a rubber band. Okay. So that's your foot, and that's why that's important. Ankle. So now we're going to get to ankle mobility. So ankle mobility is huge. So if you don't have good ankle mobility, what I see a lot of is like, so imagine if you can't bend your ankles and you're trying to squat, you're going to do something different. You're either going to bend your hips and your knees, and you're going to kind of do one of these where you end up facing the ground, right? And when you squat, you always want to pick a spot straight ahead and be able to look at it, right? But if you are lacking ankle mobility, you're going to end up doing something different. You're going to end up using more hips, right? So now when you do your little squats, you just give me 2 more. Look at your ankles. Okay. Now I see some people with our stance, right? Some people are narrow, some people are wide, some people are toed out, right? So again, a little quick fix here is if you're lacking ankle mobility, what you can do, so like if I have my feet narrow and I go like this, I need a lot of ankle mobility in order to get my hips down, right? But if I turn my feet out, now I'm able to get down a lot more because I don't need as much in my ankle. I can use other parts of my body. So if you are in this next step, we're going to test your range of motion. If you don't have that, you can just widen your stance or put your feet out a little bit and then squat. Try that. So like maybe widen just a tiny bit, not a lot, toe out a little bit, and then squat. And again, you're still driving your knees over your toes, right? Just a little bit. Try to bring them in just a bit. Like point your toes forward for me, just a tiny bit. You don't want it super wide. You just want, if this is neutral here, you're just kind of toeing out just a tiny bit. Okay? There you go. Good. All right, so now what we're going to do, get on the wall, or you could do this on a rack if you guys don't feel like you have enough room. So go ahead and just grab a wall spot. You just need a little bit to put your foot on the wall. Okay? All right. I'm just going to move this for a sec. Okay. So now what we're going to do, you guys, is you're going to face the wall, and I want you, let's start with like 6 inches away from the wall, give or take, okay? From here, what you're going to do is take your left leg only, and you're going to bend your knee, see if it can touch the wall. So it doesn't really matter how far away you are, just see how far you can get away from the wall and still touch the wall, okay? So slide it back and forth until you don't touch the wall anymore. Find the farthest away you can go where you're still touching the wall and keeping your heel down on the ground on that left side. Okay? Now match that. So don't move your foot. Keep an eye on where your foot is. Now put your right foot where that was. Try that one. Is it easier or harder? Are you able to still touch? Now keep your heel down. That's the key. Keep your heel down. You can't cheat. So we got to keep that down. And can your knee touch on that side? If not, then that means that you have better mobility on that first leg you started with, your left side. Okay? Yeah, you're hitting the TV. You can scoot over. Does that make sense? You guys seeing like a difference? Now what I want you to do is put both your feet where they are and try to bend both of them at the same time. See if one knee goes out in front of the other. That's another way to check. So you're kind of squatting, you're keeping both feet in front, and then push, keep your heels down and push your knees as far forward as you can. So for me, I notice my right leg can get in front of my left. So that means that my left side for me has less ankle mobility. Good. Okay, you guys can come away from the wall and you can go back to your mats. No, that's okay. Does that make sense? So again, like squatting here, right? Like if I'm going forward, you can see this knee shoot out in front, right? So that means that this side here, because it's not going as far, that ankle is locked up. It's lacking range of motion. So what does that mean? Well, then when you squat, right? If this one is lacking range of motion, then my hips are going to shift a little bit. So if you squat and you see your hips shift, it might actually be because of your ankles. Okay. And I see some, I'm not going to point anybody out, but I've seen some tight ankles and I know I'm one of them. So like working on ankle mobility is huge so that you can get into those squats a little bit better. Now, if you're lacking ankle mobility, how do you fix that? So say like for me, I'm one of those people. This one is not as good as this one. Oh my, what's going on over there? So
Or, huh? Oh, well, that's the whole thing. And then it's on the side. I just want to make sure it wasn't like smoke. It's a fog.
a fog machine.
So
I went to
Yeah. Yeah, good eye. I didn't even notice.
The next door, after the hallway, they're like, I don't think they're musicians necessarily, but like,
They use smoke machines. Got it. Got it. So what we were talking about, you're good. So what we were talking about is when you're squatting, if you have a lack in range of motion on the side, what you can do is you can either put wedges. Do you have wedges or no?
we have plates. And
Yeah. So otherwise, yeah. So if you don't have wedges, what you can do is you could buy wedges online. They're like you can get either like really little ones that look like little slivers, or you can get or you can get something like that, like plates like that, or you could get actual plates. So like what happens is so so what you can do is like, if you look at me squat, what happens here is because I'm lacking ankle mobility, I'm having to adjust and do a lot of bending at my hips, and I'm having to really arch my spine. But if I go into with this, it's going to be a lot more natural. I'm not having to arch my back. I'm not like feeling it in my back as much, and this is a lot more comfortable for me. So if you are like if you find that you have lacking ankle mobility, use like a wedge or use like plates. So just take a plate, put it underneath so that you have a little bit of gap there with your heel. And then just a caveat too. So you guys might not know, but most shoes have a little heel in them anyway. Like we think of like women wearing heels, but running shoes have like a little heel. So if you look at like a description, it will say heel to toe drop. That's the amount of millimeters that are the drop in the shoe. So if you go barefoot and you have ankle mobility, you're going to have more problems. So sometimes, not always recommended, but if you are having problems with your ankles, you can actually wear shoes with a little heel in them, so that will help you squat a little bit better. Okay. All right. Any questions there before we kind of move on?
No questions, but when I was doing the ankle thing like this, I could feel pain here, like here.
Yeah. So that is because when you're kind of doing this, you're having to load that quad. So you're putting a lot of pressure on that quad. Now, if you go and do that same thing, squeeze your buttocks a little bit, like squeeze your cheeks together, that might go away a little bit. Maybe not, but sometimes that can just be tension in the quad because that's the muscle that is basically resisting the bending. Okay? Because the quad muscle does this. Does a kick. So, right, like that's the muscle that contracts to kick. So if you're doing that, you're actually lengthening that. That's why you might feel it there.
Kind of did help if I just squeeze the hips And then front door.
Yep. Yeah, because you're taking pressure off of this and you're shifting the muscles to use back here. Okay, which is a great tangent. A lot of people have overactivity of this and less activity of your hamstrings and your butt and your back. Right. So if you have pain in the front, like in your knees when you squat, you're actually going to want to, try to activate the stuff in the backside. So you want to squeeze your buttocks together, maybe push your knees out a little bit. That's going to give you more activation here, take some pressure off your knee. Good question. Great question. All right. So next, we're going to just do calf raises. So you guys can do regular calf raises. So when you're doing calf raises, I see a lot of people doing this, and I do it too. You're coming up and you're going whoop like that, right? So don't do that. Instead, go straight up. And again, you're pushing all your pressure through the ball of your foot when you do that. That's going to feel different than you going like that, right? So see if you can go straight up and hold that. Now, if anybody wants to try something else, you can do single leg. And again, trying to put pressure through that big toe. Now, if you don't, you're going to roll it out, right? So you're going to roll out to the outside. Okay, so this is just looking at your strength. You should be able to do, on average, most people, if they're holding on, you should be able to do like 10 single leg calf raises. I know we're not holding on to anything right now, so you should be able to do 10 of these calf raises pretty comfortably without any pain. Okay, all right, that's calf raises. All right, so I already talked about how it affects your squats. Next, we're going to go into knees. So now we're going to be on our back. You could lay on the bench if you want to. So you guys are going to lay on your back on the mat. Okay. So from here, what you're going to do is I want you to see how far you can bend up your knee. So you're just doing a heel slide, sliding your knee up. And if you need to, you can grab your hand and pull it back, or you can find a partner to help you, or grab a strap. And you're just trying to bend that up as far as you can go. So you should be able to bend your knee up and then slide it back out and try your other side. You should be able to bend that knee up roughly about 130 degrees. So that's like perfect. That's like 135, 140. Same here, same here. That's probably about 120. Just looking at it, this one looks good too, like 125. Yeah, so you guys got a pretty good knee mobility in terms of bending, so that's good. And some of you guys are even maxing out where your shin is touching your back of your thigh, which is really good. That's okay. That's okay. You still have good. That's still good knee mobility. So where most people, like if they're going to get a surgery on the knee, they're going to be probably somewhere around like 100 when the surgeon's going to want to do a knee replacement. So this is just something like if you're looking at your knees, 100 would be 90 degrees is where it's just like trading a 90-degree angle. So 100 is just a little bit more than. Yeah, sorry. All right. So now you're going to put your knee all the way straight. So still lay down. Put your leg all the way straight. Now from here, you should be able to get your knee, back of your knee to basically try to touch the ground. Okay, so on both of them. Now I know you're wearing shoes and stuff, so it's kind of so you can keep that on the ground. Yep, keep it on the ground, you guys. Okay, so now from here, you're gonna sit up. So sit up into a long sit like this. Sorry. All right, so now from here, what you're gonna do is focus on your quad control. So this is quads again. All right, we're going to focus on quadricep control. So from here, you're going to try to squeeze this muscle and pull your knee down. So it looks like that. So I'm locking that knee down and pushing that knee down into the floor, right? So people that have knee replacements, again, that we see, a lot of times they have weak quads. And that's really important because if you have weak quads, then, or I should say lacking control here, that's what ends up causing a lot of arthritis in the knee, is lacking control. Like you could probably squat with weight and do all this stuff, but if you're lacking control, then you're going to have an issue with arthritis and other things because it kind of wears it and tears things. All right. So if you haven't already, do your other side. So get a nice good squeeze. And when you do this, I want you to push it down and then pull your toes up towards you. So push your knee down, lock that thigh, and then pull your toes up towards your head. And you should feel that really squeeze in your thigh. Hold it for about a count of 3 or 4, and then relax, and then you can try your other leg. Okay? So if you feel like you can't really get that, That's something to focus on too. All right. Next, we're going into hips. So hip range of motion. On this one, you're going to be laying all the way back. You're going to hug your knee and get your knee up as high as you can on your whatever side you want. I'm going to start with my left, and then you're going to rotate and go to your right. Here, I'll hold you. Got it. Good. So with this one, you want to be able to get your knee past 90 degrees. So you want to get it as close to your chest as possible. Some of you guys are getting stuck at 90. That means that you're lacking a little bit of hip mobility. Okay? Switch your legs if you haven't. Okay? So we'll talk about this when you guys get up so you're more comfortable, but lacking hip mobility here can really cause a lot of effect everywhere else. Okay? All right. Now, next one, what you're going to do, you're still in that same spot. Now you're going to hold your leg up, and this one you don't have to pull all the way to your chest. You're going to go to 90 degrees, and then you're going to take your heel and pull it to the inside of your body. So if you're starting with your left leg, you're going to be taking your heel and pulling it to the right. Okay? And you're just trying to spin it. Okay? It's just spinning. Yeah, so here. No, see if you can do it without your hands. If you need to use your hands, by all means, you can. But see if you can just control it like that. So just pulling your heel in. Yeah, like that. There you go, like that. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. Like that. And switch your legs. Try it on the other side. This one should not hurt. It might feel weak. It might feel weird because you're not used to using this rotation. But this is a hip external rotation. Now you're going to do the opposite. So go back to your left leg. So left leg is in the air. Now you're going to point your heel to the left. So this is internal rotation. This one might be a little more painful, a little weaker. Okay. Yeah, so you're going like that.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that way. So this way. So you're trying to just rotate it like that, out like that. Yeah, that way. Yeah, you're kind of lacking some mobility there. That's why that one's hard for you. Yep, like that. Perfect. Nathan looks good. Great. Okay, switch your legs if you haven't. Try your other side. You're a champ doing this on a bench. That's hard. Good. Good. Looks good, you guys. Awesome. Now you're going to straighten both your legs out. So you're still laying on your back. You're going to bend up one of your legs. Let's start again with your left. And you're going to cross it over. So now you're trying to basically stretch your back. So you're trying to bring it all the way across your body. Okay, so this is like a back stretch. This is looking at back mobility. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, it's hard on the bench. So like that. Yeah. And then try your other side. Bringing it across. Again, if you feel it in your back here, that just means maybe work on low back mobility. This is how you can stretch it. Same as, most of these, if you're assessing it this way, then that's how you can fix it too. All right, now I want you guys to go back to lying on your back. You're going to do the same thing, but now you're going to keep your back on the mat. So back on the mat, and then you're going to rotate. Now only go as far as, keep your back on the mat. So you're only going as far as your hip. So bring this one back here. So straighten this one out. And then you're just going to go like that. So keep your back flat on the mat. Yep. So now this is looking at just your hip only. So this tells me a lot. Like we've got a little bit of hip tightness on some of these. This one. So this would be testing IT band, you guys. So if you have like tightness on the outside of your thigh, that's what this would be IT band, because you're keeping your back flat. Good. All right, very good. All right, now you're going to go to hands and knees, like a quadruped. This one, if you want to, you can do it on the wall, extending. That's probably how I would modify this one. So I'll move this out of the way for you. All right. So now we're looking at our spine, okay? So you're going to face the wall. I'll show you in a sec. So for here, you're going to just do your cat, cow. Okay, so you're going to make a arch in your back one way and then an arch in your back the other way. Okay, and you're trying to feel this one all the way through your spine. You want to feel it in your low back too, like go all the way to the point where you're feeling it there. So you're kind of here. I want you to arch your back like you're making a cat, like you're squeezing that. There you go. And then you're going to round it. Keep your arms. Can you get your arms straight to do all these? There you go. Yep. And then round your back and then straighten. There you go. Try to really round it right there. Now, can you do it without, see how you're bringing your hips through? So try to keep your hips where they are, and you're just rounding your back. There you go. Perfect. You guys are doing good. Try to go all the way through here. See if, yeah, so that, you can do it there. Now round it through there. There you go. Round it all the way through there. You're doing good too. Round it all the way through there. Good. Okay, now we're going to make it so that you're only working your upper half. So with this one now, for all you guys on the floor, you're going to shift your hips back so that your butt's kind of on your knees, or your butt's on your feet are on your heels. Yeah, or butt's on your heels. Yeah, you know what I meant. So from here, now you're going to do cat, cow, cat, cow. Now you'll feel that this is different. So this is mostly through your shoulders, right? It's not in your low back. So this one, you're just going to lock out your legs for you, and then you're just going to round just your shoulders. So you're trying to squeeze, yeah, round your shoulders, squeeze your shoulders. That's how you do it here. So when you round, try not to shrug them up like you're shrugging up your shoulders. Try to just like imagine like lengthening your arms. Yeah, like that. There you go. Like that. That one. Good. So this is really good, you guys, for like we call it the serratus anterior. It's like the rib cage muscle. So this is good, like if you're gonna warm up for push-ups or something, or bench press. Like keep all that mobile. So it's a good warm up prior to doing a workout. Okay, now you're gonna do still on your hands and knees. You're gonna do thread the needles. So from here, you're gonna take your hand and you're gonna shove it through the hole under your arm. And I want you to lengthen that arm, take your fingertips and reach them as far as you can to the point where you can get your shoulder on the floor if you can. So you're going to reach all the way through and you're going to try to stack your shoulders on top of one another. So like this. Like that. There you go. Yeah, you gotta pop that because that means we're doing it right. Like that. And then you're trying to rotate this way. There you go. Yeah, you got it. Good. Okay, try your other side. So hold it like, 10 seconds and then rotate. And again, you're trying to stack your shoulders. Stack them this way. Yep. And what you can do is use that hand that's kind of under your head, press it so that it's straight. So you're trying to, so if your elbow's bent, try to straighten your elbow and push down with that one. So you're pushing this one down. It's almost like you're doing a push-up on one arm, and then you're sliding your hand underneath. Good, you guys. Okay, now you're going to do the other way. So that was thread the needle. Now you're going to do open book. So if you stuck your right arm through, now you're going to open it up towards the ceiling. So right arm goes up towards the ceiling. Yeah, you got it. Good. Okay. Should be able to get all the way fingertips up towards the ceiling. That one. And then try your other hand if you have it. So left arm would go through and then open it up all the way. So this one is huge. Like if you don't have thoracic mobility here, so all the way open. Yeah, like that. Stack them. There you go. Yeah. So if you don't have mobility here in the back, your shoulders are going to be really restricted in some of these motions when we talk about the pressing. Okay, good. All right, you guys. I'll let you take a break. You can relax. Here, I'll give you you can just sit normal and relax for a second. I'll just explain some things. Good. We're rocking and rolling. We're good through all this stuff. That's good. Okay. So I saw some people here. This one seemed like this was one of the tightest for everybody. So actually going back, like this one was also very tight for a lot of people, which it usually is here. So trying to keep your back flat and just trying to rotate that as far as you can go. Right? And you might feel it here on the IT band. So the reason that's important is because if that's tight, then a lot of people usually have like pain on the outside of their knees when they squat. Or if you have pain on the outside of the knees when you run, go upstairs, something like that, that's usually that muscle, the IT band. Or if you hear somebody say like I have bursitis, like in the hip, a lot of times it's actually just tightness in that IT band region, because that's where the IT band attaches, is right up there. And it goes right over the top of that bursa. Bursa is like think of it like a sack filled with fluid, and its whole purpose is to lubricate things and keep things from rubbing on each other. So when someone has bursitis, it's basically like that muscle's too tight. And if you imagine you've got like a sack of fluid here and that muscle's tight and it's kind of pushing down on it, it's kind of making it wear and tear and get a little irritated. So that's bursitis. But going back to shoulders or back here. So with this one, this is the one that a lot of people were tight. Okay. So the reason that's important is because when you go to lift your arms up over your head, okay, what a lot of people, yeah, you can do it. So when you do this, even sitting down, you should be able to get your hands up all around your head. So you want to be able to go behind your head, like behind your ears, right? When you do that. Does anybody have any pain like in your shoulders when you're doing that?
I see a little, yeah.
Left side, a little bit in the front. Okay. So this is why. Okay. So when you lift like this, what most people are doing is they're using their neck to pull their arms up. Okay. Now when you're lifting your arm, what I want you to do is pull. It's okay. Pull your shoulders down. So squeeze your shoulder blades, not back, not like retraction, but pull them down. So imagine like if you're taking your hands, pull your hands down. That's hard for a lot of people. They're like, what do you mean pull my hands down? So slide your fingertips down like you're trying to reach them down, and then just hold them there. Okay. So what you're going to feel if you hold that long enough is you're going to feel it kind of down in here. And that's just a spot where most people don't really use. And that's why this one is so restricted, because you're not really using that so much. You're using a lot of the neck muscles up here. And that's why people get pain up here, is because they're always using this and not using this. Okay. And that's why people get shoulder pain. Okay. So now when you do that, I want you to kind of adjust your posture. So you're going to kind of squeeze down here. And what happens is it looks like you're kind of sticking out your chest. Right. So one way I do this with my clients, is like if you can do it kneeling, is if you go like take your thumbs and rotate them out, lift your arms up, put them down so that they're like right here. Feel what happens in your back. Those little muscles are activated, right? Now you're not squeezing them. You just lifted your arms and did that, but you kind of feel it back here. That's what you want to feel. So before you lift, you're gonna you can get yourself in that position, find it in your back, and then you're gonna lift your arms up, trying to hold that little position in your back. Now try to lift your arms up and see if that creates less pain. Okay? Sometimes it does. If it doesn't, then the fix is trying to get your shoulder blades to do what they're supposed to do, which means when you lift up, you're gonna, instead of lifting your arms up, I want you to think of going out. So like reach your arm that way in front of you as much as you can, and then go up. What you'll see is that your shoulder blade kind of does some more of the work, and it's going to get out of the way. Okay? Because what happens is the way the anatomy is, you have the ball, which is here, right? It's hard to do on yourself, but this is the ball. And then you have the cup. Okay? What people don't realize is that the cup is actually your shoulder blade. So the shoulder blade moves. So that means the cup moves. If that shoulder blade doesn't move, then the cup stays this way. So imagine this is my cup, and we're going to say the shoulder blade is not moving. If I go to lift my arm up and that shoulder blade doesn't move, it's going to bang into the top. Bang, bang, bang. Every time you lift, bang, bang, bang. And that's why people get arthritis. That's why people get rotator cuff tears, is because it's just bang, bang, bang over and over and over again until it tears. Okay? But if you get your shoulder blades to move, this is what's happening. That cup is going up like this, and now you got a lot of room up here. Now that thing can move around and it's not going to bang into itself. Okay? So shoulder blades are huge. So that's why like keeping those moving this way, like getting your back moving is huge to prevent a lot of stuff going down the road. Surgery, unnecessary surgeries, injections, all that stuff with your shoulders. I'm like the shoulder guy, and that's what people call me, the shoulder guy in Grays Lake. So I like help a lot of people. I've helped some people from his gym here, help prevent, a lot of like they've gotten full rotator cuff tears, and then through some coming to see me, they don't need to do like the surgery, which is crazy. Just because you have a diagnosis doesn't mean that it's going to limit you. So, all right. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to have you guys lay on your back for me one more time. Okay. Now from here, you're gonna have your arms out, your knees are bent, your hips are on the floor. You're gonna flatten your back for me. Take one of your hands and you're gonna try to go arch like you're doing an angel. So start with the angel. You should be able to keep the back of the hands on the floor the entire way, and then go all the way to the point where you can touch your hands at the top. Yep, so do a snow angel. Yeah, you guys are running into each other. That's okay. You're doing good. So keep your palm or your backside of your hand all the way on the ground and go all the way towards your butt, all the way to your head. So keep your forearms on the ground too, if you can. Can you keep all of your part of your arms on the floor? The whole way. Now, if you can't do this, this means that you're probably tight in the pecs. Okay, pec minor, pec major, and this one is huge to also helping you with your shoulders. If you're tight here, your shoulder blades in the back aren't really going to work very well. Okay, all right. So now what you're going to do is leave your left hand straight. So get it out to 90 degrees. Left hand, like this. Yeah. So now from here, you're going to go all the way back towards your butt. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Good. And then do your right arm. So right arm all the way out, and then go all the way over your head, and then all the way back towards your feet. Okay. Good. So you should be able to, again, touch all the way, going all the way around. Your fingertips should be able to reach all the way around there. Okay. Now you're going to roll towards your left side. I'll modify for you. So roll on your left side for me. So lay on your left hip if you can. And then from here, you're going to use your right hand, and you're going to swing it around all the way behind your head and then all the way into your toes. And what I want you to do is I want you to open up your spine so that you are rolling back towards your back. If you need to watch me, you can. I'm rolling. See, I'm rolling that open, and then I'm bringing that spine all the way back around. Right? Okay? Once you feel like you got that, then you're going to switch to your other side. You did it. Like that. You got it. Yep. Looks good. Okay, roll your other side. So now the left arm is going to be on the top, and then you're going to rotate all the way around so that you're opening up your spine. And then you're trying to get that left shoulder to touch the ground when you open it all the way up. Okay? There you go. It's good, you guys. Good job. So again, this is teaching you how to get your shoulder blade to move. It's like, it's rolling. This is basically rolling. Right? Good. You're doing good. Thank you. All right. So now we're going to stand up. We're getting closer to 10:30. So now we're going to do neck mobility. Get you guys standing again. So we're going to do neck cars. So we're going to just rotate our neck. So let's start with looking left, looking right, and do it slow so you don't get dizzy. Right. So just look at your normal speed that you're not going to get dizzy at. Okay. All right. Now watch me, you guys. So I don't know if you can spot the difference. So I'm going to do it normally, or how I normally do it, which is wrong. Okay, so here, this is my normal. And you should be able to get look all the way 90 degrees, right? So I'm pretty close, like probably 80. Okay, now I'm going to tuck my chin and rotate. Okay, this you might feel is a lot more restricted. So you're trying to keep that chin tucked, and I see some people are like shaking here, right? I know I am. So you should be able to do a full 90 with that, with your chin tucked. Yeah. So what happens is when you chin tuck, what's actually happening here is you're using the upper part of your neck to rotate, and it's whereas if you have your head out like most people do, now you're just using a certain section of your neck. So if you ever feel tight in your neck, you hear people say chin tuck, which is good. Chin tuck is a good place to start, but chin tuck rotation is really what's going to help keep you loose. So the easiest way I like to teach people is like, you don't have to do this, but if you're laying down on the pillow before bed, chin tuck here. So you're just tucking your chin and then rotate like that. So now you can't cheat. Gravity's not going to move you, and you're just kind of doing that. That's going to help keep all that loose up there. Okay, now look up and look down. All right, and just kind of do maybe 3 each way. Okay. Now when you look up, I want you to look up and then do that little chin tuck. If you need to apply some pressure to your chin, just kind of try to slide your head back. And you'll feel that at the top, probably, right at the base of the skull, right? Now you're going to look down, and after you look down, now I want you to chin tuck again. And you'll feel maybe a stretch in the back of your head, right? Like, again, in the same spot. So what that's doing is moving that upper part of your neck, okay? All right, so now you're going to do side bending. So side bending is no rotation. It's just taking your ear to your side. This one's going to be tight for a lot of people because we don't do this a lot. When do you do this? Unless you're on a boat and it's kind of going back and forth, you're not really doing this, okay? So now we're going to stretch it. So tip your head whatever way you want. Let's just keep it simple. Everybody's going to go to the left. So tip your head to the left. You're going to take the left hand, grab your right ear. So all across like that. Push your head to the right. And the pressure against your hand. So this is next step, make sure you push, push, push. Push it on, but also stretch on the right side of your head. Okay. And you're going to go to the right. Hook your hand over to your ear. And again, you're trying to basically pull your head to the left, pull against your hand. And you'll feel an intense stretch, right? So I'm not stretching it. Most people, when they think stretching, I'm like pulling. But when you pull, you're actually like compensating and you're not really stretching it. So you're using your brain to relax your muscles. And go ahead and relax. Then you're just going to do some head circles here. Don't get dizzy. If you need to, hold on to something. And then go the other direction. Keep your eyes open so that you focus on something if you can, so you're not dizzy. And what you might find is that loosened up your neck a little bit. Feel a little looser, okay, just by doing that. So I'm just going to probably end it there. Do you guys have questions with any of these things? Or how this all kind of comes together? Because we covered a lot of stuff.
It was a great session, actually. I liked it.
Yeah? Good. Yeah, there's a lot of things there. There's a lot of nuggets. So what I would encourage everybody here, just seeing your mobility, is I want you to work on your spine and your shoulder blade mobility. The easiest way to do that, you can do the stuff that I mentioned on the ground, but otherwise you could just stand here against the wall, and you're going to try to get you would get your hip on the wall here, and you're just going to try to swing this around and go as far as you can. Okay, you should be able to come all the way back like this, and then lift off and then come around. If you can't do that, then there's a good chance that stuff in the middle is getting jammed up. And why that's important is like if you're going to press and you don't have full range of motion and again, that shoulder blade is hitting the ball, every time you press with you're jamming those two things together. So if you're lacking that mobility here, there's a chance that down the road you might have some issues. Okay? So keeping that unlocked and mobile is huge. And it's also huge, we didn't talk about it, but any like squat, like overhead or anything like that, if you're locked up here, look what happens. So if I'm locked up here, imagine my arms only get to this high and I go to squat. Now I'm like really having to arch my back here and stuff like that. So it's going to put a lot of extra pressure on my back. Now, if I have my wedges, so this is crazy, right? We talked about wedges for our ankles, but we would actually use wedges for our shoulders too. So if I don't have shoulder mobility to go all the way over my head, now this is going to put me in a more optimal position, so I'm not going to overwork my back. So I've seen a lot of people that come to me with back pain, and honestly, all we have to do is give them wedges, and now they don't have pain like doing overhead squats or anything because they're not having to arch their back into ranges of motion that they don't have. Okay? So like if you're struggling with any of these lifts through class, like just reach out to me. We can talk about it. I do free consultations, like 30 minutes roughly. You can do it in person, on the phone, whatever. And we can walk through this. This is the difference between me and another PT is like, you go to another PT, they're not going to know how to do this stuff. And I've had people say that, like, my PT doesn't know CrossFit, doesn't know this, that, but like we give you solutions for all those things so you can do it in the gym. So hopefully that answers your guys' questions. Do you have any other burning questions? No? Great. Good. Well, thank you guys. I really appreciate it.